Hey kids, welcome to Elementary at Home. I'm your host, Jeff Parrott.
And I'm Claire Novak. We are so glad you're here. These past weeks, we have been learning about the different people who had interacted with Jesus and how they responded to him.
Wait, Claire, are we not going to do the whole responses to Jesus bit?
Oh, right, like with the graphic. Yeah, sorry. Okay,
Maybe.
from the top. This is our fourth lesson in our unit, Responses to Jesus. Better?
Yeah, much better.
Okay.
Thank you. We already learned about Peter, who was one of Jesus' disciples. He first believed and followed, then betrayed and ran away. But thankfully, he ended up committing his life to following and serving Jesus. Peter wasn't the only one of the disciples to have this experience, though.
You're right. Judas was another disciple who would have been with Jesus every day, learning from him. Judas followed Jesus and then betrayed him by turning him in to be arrested. Betrayed means he turned his back on Jesus. He sold him to the enemy.
Let's definitely talk about Judas today. There's a lot that we can learn from his life.
Agreed, but oh my gosh, I have a fun idea about something that we can do at the end of the episode that will totally utilize, wait for it, the Dice of Doom!
Oh,
Dice of Doom!
No, Claire, last week was just too much for me. Please, let's not.
Come on, let's ask the kids. Guys, what do you think should we use
The Dice of Doom!
after our lesson? Oh, yes. I'm sorry, Jeff, but it sounds like the kids at home want to see us play again.
Okay, but can you at least tell me how the Dice of Doom will be used? What's the game today? Do you know?
I for sure am not gonna tell you, but here are some pictures with some clues for the kids.
Wait, that's not fair. Claire, I can't see the pictures. Well, fine, at least I can get our Bibles out.
Ooh. Oh, thank you, yes. What did you get?
Well, it's not apple juice. It's skim milk.
Ew. Not
Why-
even like whole or 2%?
No, skim milk.
I'm
Wha-
sorry.
Why do the special effects keep doing this to me?
Do we even want to try, or should you just hand me the Bible?
Yeah, I feel like we should just.
This is
Yeah.
okay. All right, so the story that I want to look at today can be found in John 13 and 14. Oh my gosh. Now, guys, we're going to look at the Last Supper. We actually talked about this really important event in our last unit on Holy Week.
Yeah, so do you guys remember that we focused on Jesus washing his disciples' feet? That would have been a really outrageous thing for anyone but the lowliest servant to do at that time in the world.
So Jesus was showing us the kind of king he came to be, a humble servant. And that's the way he wants us to treat each other as well. But today, let's focus on how Judas responded to Jesus during that event. Now, let me set the scene for you. Oh, Jeff, I guess we're in my imagination again. Okay.
Go with it.
So it was Passover. Now, this is the time when God's people would celebrate and remember how God had rescued them from being slaves in Egypt.
Now, this was a really important meal for God's people. Jesus and his disciples had come together in an upper room to share this meal when Jesus began washing the disciples' feet. They were shocked. Peter questioned Jesus about what he was doing.
Peter didn't understand that Jesus was showing his disciples and us how we should treat each other by serving one another in humility. So after he washed the disciples' feet, he tells them that he knows one of them is going to betray him.
So Jesus says, "Very truly I tell you, one of you is going to betray me."
Peter and some of the disciples were so confused. Who did he mean? Lord, who is it?
It is the one to whom I will give this piece of bread after dipping it into the dish. What you're about to do quickly. And then Judas went off into the night. We know that he had already planned to betray Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. He collected his payment and led the soldiers and chief priests and Pharisees right to Jesus, where they arrested him. Judas responded to Jesus by betraying him.
Guys, Jesus knew the entire time that Judas was the one who was going to betray him. For that matter, he knew that Peter was going to deny him, but he served them and he washed their feet too.
And after Judas responded to Jesus by betraying him and turning away, he became terribly sad and ended up dying. When Judas turned away from Jesus, he turned towards sin, and his sin overtook him. Sin always leads to death, but Jesus leads to everlasting life.
We may not respond rightly to Jesus all the time, but we can remember that when we sin, we can ask God to forgive us and put our trust in Jesus. Remember, we can pray the words of our memory verse. I believe, help me overcome my unbelief.
That's right. Hey kids, why don't we change gears and test your listening skills with another round of, say it with me,
Know Your Bible.
Hi guys, I'm Ethan.
And I'm Owen.
And I'm Genevieve Papadopoulos, and this is actually my show.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. Sorry, it's just a habit, you know.
It's all right. Don't let it happen again. Welcome back to a very fun episode of
Moment of...
We went over this. This is her show.
Oh,
not
yeah.
our segment, Owen.
I'm sorry, yeah.
Not our segment.
Again, children, welcome to Know Your Bible, the game show that tests your biblical knowledge. As you are already well and painfully aware, we have two goofballs in the studio today. It's Ethan and Owen from
Moment of Random.
All right, well, let's get to know them now. Ethan, it is great to have you here. So tell me, curious minds want to know, who is the brains behind your crazy shenanigans?
Well, if I have to be honest, Owen is a really big goofball, and he's probably the sillier of the two of us, but he's pretty smart, and he does a lot of the planning.
Well, thank you, Ethan, but I would say it's a group effort between us. We collaborate a lot on what we'd like to do for our Moment of Random episodes, and it usually turns out pretty well, so...
Well, aren't you two the sweetest friends? That's adorable. I wish Ginny were here. She would give you both friendship stickers. Hey, before we jump into today's show, let's hear about our prize.
Are you environmentally conscious? Do you live by the less is more mentality? Then you'll be excited for this roll of single-ply toilet paper.
Now, doesn't that sound fun? Definitely worth playing for. All right, kids at home, turn up those listening ears. It's time for question number 1. Now, who betrayed Jesus in today's story? Was it Peter, Judas, or Nicodemus?
I got this. It was Paul.
That's not even one of the answers, Owen.
Dude, it's Paul.
It is difficult to get a multiple choice question wrong, but unfortunately, Owen, that is incorrect. Ethan, you want to give it a try?
I believe it was Judas.
Kids at home, is that what you thought? Of course it is. That is absolutely correct. All right, moving right along, question number 2. Jesus told his disciples he knew one of them would betray him during an important meal. Now, what meal was it?
It was the Domino's 2-for-1 pizza pack part.
I do think the disciples would have indeed enjoyed a little Domino's, but this was the 1st century, and Domino's would not come into being until the year... Ethan, you want to give it a try?
I believe it was the Passover meal.
Kids, what do you think? Was it Passover or the Last Supper? Of course it was. Good job. All right, guys. Question 3. This is your final question, and it looks like so far Ethan's on the board with 20 points. Owen, nothing to show. All right, coming in hot with the last question. Judas betrayed Jesus for a certain amount of money. How much was it? Ooh, I think you got there first, Ethan. What do you think?
I think it was 30 silver.
I think he gave them a slice of their Domino's 2-for-1.
Again, Owen, we have already learned that that was an incorrect answer to a previous question, so I'm sorry, that is wrong. Now, you said 30 silver. What exactly do you mean by that, Ethan?
30 silver pieces.
Oh, excellent. 30 silver pieces. That is, in fact, correct. Good job, Ethan. My goodness. I believe that was a full hat trick. Yes?
I think I got all of them right.
You sure did. Oh my goodness, we are so...
Oh, I know what a hat trick is. That's in basketball when you score.
Yes, it was a sports reference, Owen, making little to no sense in this actual capacity. Hey, guys, I am so glad you played today. It definitely looks like Ethan is the clear winner of today's show. Thanks so much for playing, and we're so glad you, say it with me, know your
Random Bible.
Welcome back, friends. Now, Jeff, if you remember, the kids for sure wanted to see us use the
Dice of Doom!
again.
Yeah, I remember. But please tell me again what we're doing. I really don't want to have to do this stuff again. The drink last week was rough.
Yeah, well, you're always such a good sport, though, so I thought you would be okay with this, all right? Check it out. In our story today, Judas responded to Jesus by betraying him. He was one of Jesus' disciples and was witness to all of the signs and wonders he performed, but in the end, he still betrayed Jesus. So I thought we could play a game of betrayal today.
What? Claire, that sounds kind of creepy.
I know, it does sound creepy, but I assure you, it's not creepy at all. Have you ever played the game Two Truths and a Lie?
Sure, yeah, 2 truths and a lie. I tell you 2 things that are true, 1 thing that's not true, it's a lie, and then you have to guess which is which.
Exactly.
Okay, so what does it have to do with the dice of doom?
Okay, if you guess incorrectly which is my truth and which is my lie, you have to roll the dice of doom and accept the consequence.
Okay, so do you want to go first?
Always.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot. If you get it right, you get this awesome cupcake.
Ooh.
And then maybe if I get it right, I'll get this chocolate cupcake. And then we can just have like a cupcake party.
That sounds awesome to me.
Okay,
All right.
so here goes. My 2 truths and a lie. Number 1, I have recently been on the top of a 14,000-foot peak.
Okay.
2, I am terribly allergic to avocados. 3, I have a cat that is roughly the size of a dog.
Okay. I think that it is true that you have recently been on top of a 14,000-foot peak. And I think that it is true that you have a cat that is roughly the size of a dog. I think that it is not true. I'm just guessing. I really don't know. I think that it's not true that you're severely allergic to avocados. Is that right? Did I get it right?
You did.
Okay.
Remember the pictures, guys? That's me on the top of a mountain. That's my cat Pax. He is a Maine Coon, and he is enormous, as you can see. You can't, they can. And I'm not allergic to avocados. I love them so much. Guacamole for days.
Okay. Well,
Here we go.
Good luck.
And go. Oh. A little help, Don? Thanks, buddy.
Oh, let's see what you
I
got.
don't even know what this is. This is what it landed on. What does this mean?
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh! Okay, what are your 2 truths and a
Okay,
lie?
are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
All these truths and lie have to do with being injured.
Oh,
With being
gosh.
injured.
Okay.
Okay. So, 1, I have been injured playing football. 2, I have been severely injured. So these are all big injuries.
Well, what was the football injury?
Well, my knee. Number 2, I severely hurt my finger in an unfortunate weightlifting accident. And number 3, I severely injured my knee playing the tuba.
Oh, okay. The tuba one sounds way too ridiculous to be a lie. I feel like that would be one that you would throw me, so I would get, but I've never heard Jeff ever talk about playing tuba. I'm gonna go with tuba and football because they are the most ridiculous for you. I'm gonna go with those as being real, and the finger one is is a lie.
That's interesting.
Oh no.
Because it is true that I did injure my knee playing the tuba in high school. I had a tuba on my shoulder. I jumped off of a school bus and my knee cracked.
You were so excited to get to that marching.
So that is true.
Okay,
I played
got it.
tuba and marching band. But it is also true that I dropped a weight on my finger in high school and it was really bad. Are you okay with sharing that and rolling that? Thank you.
I'm gonna do this one because I haven't rolled this one yet. I don't like
great.
this. I thought that this was gonna be like a thing that would totally get you. He was good at riddles. He's good at lying. I don't know what this says.
We're doing great.
I'm trying to get it towards the thing. Again, Don, will you help us out? What was it? What did it land on?
You have to eat a jalapeno.
At least you get to pick the jalapeno that you eat. And this is good, by the way.
Water.
Oh, thank you, Don.
Don's the best.
All right, I know that the heat from jalapenos is in the seeds.
Oh, make sure you eat those, yeah.
Well, no. I'm trying to determine if like a smaller pepper would be spicier than a hotter pepper, so I'm gonna go with the biggest one.
Sure you can
Okay.
do that? All right. You doing okay? Oh, I can smell the heat. Are you okay? You need tea. You have tea. Yes. No. Yes. Claire, you did great. Are you doing okay?
I did it!
Wow.
Dose of doom!
The doom is real, my friends.
But you know what? This was fun, and we learned a lot today through the story of Judas.
That's right. And we remember that our memory verse is from Mark 9:24, and it connects to the story we learned today. And Mark 9:24 says this, I do believe. Help me overcome my unbelief. Jesus is the one who helps our hearts believe in him.
God is relational. He wants us to know him. Now listen, we might not always respond to Jesus in the right way, but we can remember that when we sin, we can ask God to forgive us and to put our trust in Jesus.
That's right. Hey kids, will you join us in singing this fun worship song? We'll be back next week with another episode. We'll see you guys then.
This is my faith, this is my focus, all of my days. I know where my hope is, I'll live it loud, I'll shout the chorus, because I know, oh, you're always for us. And even when it's hard for me to see, I will trust in you, I will believe. And even when it's hard for me to see, I will trust in you, I will believe. And keep on looking to you for where I'm going, knowing you go there too. I'll keep on looking to you. I fix my eyes on you. You are my only focus. You are my only focus. You are my only focus. I fix my eyes on you. This is my faith, this is my focus. All of my days, I know where my hope is. I'll live it loud, I'll shout the chorus, because I know, oh, you're always for us. And even when it's hard for me to see, I will trust in you, I will believe. And even looking to you for where I'm going. Knowing you go there too. I'll keep on looking to you. I'll fix my eyes on you. You are my only focus. You are my only focus. You are my only focus. I fix my eyes on you, oh yeah, oh yeah. Woo! You ready? Come on, let's go. Hands in the air, hands in the air. I know you're there, I know you're there. Anywhere, oh. Anywhere. I fix my eyes on you, you. Hands in the air, hands in the air. I know you're there, I know you're there. Anywhere. I fix my eyes on you, and keep on looking to you for where I'm going. No, you go there too. I'll keep on looking